What's up everyone? Today we're back with another 5 of a kind and this time we are playing on the Star Pack. I don't know if you've noticed just yet, but ever since my return from the hiatus I've been trying to get some 5 of a kinds on all of the different packs. We've already covered Turtle Pack and Unicorn Pack. Today we're trying to do Star Pack. And I could have very easily done 5 of a kind hamster instead of this lovely 5 of a kind ammonite that we have here today. But I wanted something a little bit more difficult, something that has never been done before. And that's going to be the premise of the video. We have a very difficult 5 of a kind incoming. You might think to yourself that the ammonite is an extremely strong pet, especially in versus. It's one of the more powerful pets. People complain about it being too strong even. But in arena it's a little bit of a different story, especially when you run multiple of them. We're going to talk about the ammonite a little bit later into the video though. For now I want to cover the setup that we're going to use for our scaling. You can see I am trying to level up this marmoset. I am also trying to level up a guinea pig. And the idea behind that is that we actually want to do a big starfish pivot. And new starfish, I say new, it got updated quite a while ago. But its ability is that it gives a lot of stats whenever you sell a level 3 cell pet, and it even triples its own effect if the cell pet has 10 or more attack. Therefore, even on turn 4 we buy this fried shrimp on the guinea pig that we intend to get up to level 3. Hopefully we don't lose all too much in the meantime. This setup heavily relies on us getting multiple level 3 pets with up to 10 attack and also not losing all too much early on, and I think we're doing a relatively okay job so far. We have lost only once. We find double seaweed in shop, which is actually super lovely. It's going to allow us to hopefully draw this turn with this extremely weak looking team. We also level up into a platypus, which is once again a cell pet. And not only is it a cell pet, it's a cell pet that first of all provides a lot of tempo so you don't lose the early turns. And second of all, when you sell it, it ends up giving you 2 more cell pets at the end of the day. So it represents a lot of stats with the starfish as well. And we get super lucky to find another copy of it. So this is going extremely well so far. Double platypus, it's not even turn 7 yet, so we can't even conventionally find them in the shop. This team looks a little scary. They generate 13 trumpets, but because they have their sea urchin at the back, we actually managed to scrape a tie there, which is extremely lovely. And for now we're just going to try to roll into a couple more platypi. We also do take bass because that represents a chocolate as well, even it comes cheaper than the actual platypus once we get it up to level 2. We don't find any on this turn though, so we just end up buying the seaweed instead. This looks a little scary at the beginning. They do manage to steal 1 platypus and 1 sea urchin away from us, but at the end of the day, because the platypus is such a strong pet, we just barely are able to get a win. We find a bass in the shop. We do pass up a couple of elks because there is the possibility that the elk does give some gold to the platypus instead of the marmoset, so it's not a guarantee that it will give us 3 extra gold. Here we face another person who is trying to go for a starfish pivot. Thankfully we are the stronger team, so we end up winning. And I have to stress this once again, this is the perfect setup, and looking at this turn especially, you will realize how lucky we are being. We find the bass, so we do end up getting 1 extra experience on the platypus. We level into an alpaca, so that gives us 1 extra experience on the starfish as well. And on the very same roll we also find pearlbug plus blobfish. So that is an immediate level 2 starfish at the beginning of next turn. And still we have 4 hearts. We face this relatively weak looking unicorn pack team as well, which we end up defeating. So we have a lot of hearts remaining, we have some wins left to go, which is perfect when you're going for a late game 5 of a kind. We pick up our level 2, and would you look at that, from the level up comes an ammonite, exactly the pet that we wanted to get the 5 of a kind of. We take another level right here. This one is unfortunately kind of irrelevant, but it's okay. And actually, typically at this point I would decide to sell out of my team in order to buff up multiple ammonites, but because we're doing so well, I'm gonna go the extra mile. I'm going to be extra greedy, and I'm going to go for the level 3 starfish instead of the conventional level 2. And you can see once again we pick up a tie here. Incredible luck right there. Sniping off our weakest unit. I believe had the snipe went on the duck we would have lost. We are going to roll a bunch for some chocolates and some more ammonites. If we can find ideally 3 ammonites to buff up with the starfish pivot, that would be perfect. Here just barely we're going to lose by 4 HP on the dragon. It happens though, as we take our chocolate, we find another chocolate immediately. Unfortunately no level up into another ammonite, so we will continue rolling a bunch. Maybe now we sell out of the guinea pig just because it provides us so many stats and it can potentially help us not lose a turn. And you can see I do it, it gives +9/+9 to the entire team. So we are significantly stronger than what we used to be last turn, as we find the second ammonite in shop as well. We can almost fully complete the pivot now, and you will see next turn I believe is going to be the magical turn for us, which is going to give us an extreme amount of stat. Here we just barely lose by 1 HP. It's okay though once again, because we do manage to find our third ammonite in the shop as well. Here the order of operations is actually a little bit crucial. We have to sell the platypus first, then we sell the duck, and only then do we pick up the third ammonite, after which we can sell the beaver. And look at this, extremely strong pivot. One of the ammonites is almost 50-50. It's turn 13. What an insane pivot. What a strong looking team we have now all of a sudden. Maybe a good enough pivot to make you like and subscribe perchance? Wink wink, nudge nudge. All jokes aside though, we still do need to win 6 more times in order to complete the 5 of a kind, not to mention that we also need to find 2 more ammonites. So while we may be in the clear for now, it's actually very crucial for us to continue scaling up. So almost immediately on the same turn we managed to find a level 2 hamster plus a level 1.5 ostrich, which I think I should be taking right now. Or maybe I just decide to be greedy first by rolling 4 times with the hamster. Actually thinking about it, it's not the greedy play because it allows us to use the hamster goat, which we otherwise would not have been able to utilize. So here we go, we take it. I miss a tier 5 there on the roll, but that is perfectly fine. Honestly speaking, I don't really want all of my slots frozen just yet. I want to leave myself the opportunity to find the ostrich level as well as some more ammonites. Here you can see our opponent actually is running an ammonite of their own, but as normal people do, they just run a single copy of it, and that's more than enough for most teams to handle. But instead we just have 3 big ammonites, and we are going to destroy into the later turns as well. We pick up a pita bread on the 50-50, we pick up a melon on the weaker unit, and we can actually take this level on the ostrich as well. It allows us to find the 4 copies of tier 6 units, so we can immediately trigger the ostrich effect starting next turn. Once again, I'm pretty sure we're not losing, especially not to a team like this that heavily relies on the Spinosaurus for summons. In case you didn't know, Mimic Octopus always targets the lowest HP opponent pet with its snipes, so when they have a squishy support pet like a turkey or a Spinosaurus in this case at the back, it actually helps us out a lot having these Mimic Octopi completely destroy the opposition. Here we find double chocolate, we're going to take it on the hamster. We're going to go for a level 3 hamster. Ideally we don't want to keep it forever, instead we want to start buffing up a 4th ammonite. But that's kind of the tricky part with Star Pack 5 of a kinds. You really want to find the 5th copy, the 4th and 5th copy for that matter, of your desired pet. But ostrich, which is the only scaler in the pack, makes it kind of difficult for that to happen. Nonetheless though, we're still going to continue scaling up. We get a very lucky trigger right here. We're going to continue freezing tier 6s. Generally I do prefer freezing tier 6s over any other tier because that allows us to actually freeze roll an ammonite as well a bunch of times if we happen to find one. Of course, it not always happens that we roll into many tier 6s. For example, there we rolled into 3 tier 5s and then we almost immediately get the trigger as a result. We also find this ammonite right here in the shop, which I'm going to look to bring into the team starting next turn. We even find some pancakes to give to it. For that reason, I'm not going to freeze any tier 6s in case I accidentally screw myself over by having the ostrich unfreeze and reroll the ammonite that we have. Here I hope that we should be winning. It's actually looking kinda close because they have snipes of their own and weakness to remove our equipment and it ends up being a tie. But that's not that big of a concern, I don't think. Here we're going to utilize all of the hamster rerolls because they buff up the ammonites that we do have. And after the triggers are exhausted, we are going to bring in the 4th ammonite. It's very crucial that we end up buffing as much as we can on all of the ammonites. And the reason is because, as you have probably seen already, I'm super reliant on my positioning to be correct in order for the team to be effective. And if it isn't, or especially not if we get sniped at the start of the fight, it can be extremely dangerous as that does throw the order off of which unit remains a Mimic Octo and which remains an Ammonite. This team looks kinda scary, almost full 50-50. Thankfully we do have some nice equipment that can help us out. And very close, but we get the tie there by 1 HP on the ostrich. Very lucky. We get a level on the ammonite as well. I'm thinking here if I want to let this ammonite I have frozen go in order to secure a trigger of the ostrich buff. Or maybe instead I want to commit to the 5 of a kind now. And I think I should be taking the buff. Here we go. With 3 wins left, most of the time we should have enough gold in order to find yet another ammonite, and it's very important that we continue winning. As you see, our team isn't especially strong for turn 18, not anymore at the very least, and especially not if we get disrupted. So we put our weaker guys up front so that they can receive the ammonite buffs, and then the stronger guys are at the back for us to secure the victory. Now that we have 2 wins left to go, maybe this is the turn where I stop freezing stuff, but because I'm greedy I don't end up doing that, and instead I am almost going to pass up another ammonite, but I actually believe it's correct to take this one. I think, yeah, I'm considering if I want to give this eggplant to this ammonite in the shop. Maybe that's what I end up doing, because lemon isn't the most useful. Here we go, we do pick up the eggplant and we're going to pivot into the 5 of a kind finally. So here we go, eggplant goes on the weak one. The disadvantage with this eggplant is that typically you want the weaker ammonite up at the front so that the stronger units become the mimic octopi that survive multiple hits and deal multiple snipes worth of damage. With eggplant though, eggplant becomes completely useless, so we can't really do that. The best we can do is second position, so that's what we're going to do. But here we go, hopefully this is good enough to win us 2 more turns. Let's see, they have a frontline mimic octopus of their own, which is kinda scary. Thankfully I do believe we're going to be winning this turn with a 50-50 ammonite at the back that doesn't get transformed. And we are on 9 trophies now, just 1 more win to the finish line. I'm just going to almost fully roll. 10 rolls guarantees that all of the Mimic Octos become level 3. Because I have 2 hearts, I decide to get this chocolate in case we do happen to lose this turn. All of the Mimic Octopi are going to be level 2 instead of level 3. But that's okay, because next turn we can afford to fully roll. So I guess we end turn and we send it. I'm thinking a little bit about positioning. You can probably tell it's extremely complicated to position a team such as this for it to be the most effective. This team we end up facing right here does end up looking kinda scary, but thankfully because of the Mimic Octo ability, just barely we will be able to snag a draw right there. Extremely lovely. And I believe we are coming up on the final turn. This is a turn 21 5 of a kind, isn't that crazy? But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you like, sub, do all the generic stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.